My name is Mohamed Hammoud and I'm the Liberal candidate for London-Fanshawe. I'm inviting you to tune in regularly and check out Amplify with Mohamed to learn all about highlights from Budget 2021 and current events in our community and how they impact you. From time to time, I'll be hosting special guests to talk about what's important to them in and around London-Fanshawe. Amplify with Mohamed will address your concerns so I can make sure you're heard at the table where decisions are made. Listening to you and amplifying your concerns is very important to me. I want you to know that even though I'm not an elected official yet, I will always have your back and speak to the issues that matter. Issues like human rights. I've always been a supporter of human rights, and I don't have to be in government to speak up and champion them, whether they're on Canadian soil or abroad. I believe Canada can continue being the leader promoting peace and understanding and in resolving conflicts, like the recent one between Palestine and Israel that needlessly claimed over 200 lives, 70 of them children. That's why I issued a statement echoing the one released by the Canada-Palestine Parliamentary Friendship Group, and why I recently raised the issue again with Liberal candidates and members of Parliament and an all-candidates call with colleagues in the Liberal caucus. Change starts with each one of us becoming more aware of our bias. Growing up as a teenager in the London area, I was impacted by mainstream opinion that wrongly labeled members of our Indigenous community as drunken natives. These biases perpetuate misconception and ill treatment, and unless we learn to challenge our assumptions, we will continue doing a huge disservice to each other and to a community that has faced discrimination for years. That's why when the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau announced that no relationship is more important to Canada than the relationship with Indigenous peoples, I knew that we could start righting these wrongs. And that's why in 2019, as the Liberal candidate, I vowed to learn more about this community and to acknowledge that we are all settlers on this land and that we must strive to right centuries of wrong and oppression. And that's why the recent discovery of a mass grave of 250 children killed at the Kamploops Residential School breaks my heart. No parent has to bear the needless loss of a child, ever. I call upon Canadians across this country from coast to coast to coast to mourn for their loss and the suffering of the surviving victims and families of Canada's residential school system. Our government remains committed to working to advance reconciliation and to renew the relationship with Indigenous people based on recognition of rights, respect, cooperation, and partnership. Today, let's remember the lives of all children whose lives are needlessly lost at home and abroad. I would also like to thank Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for lowering the flags to half-mast at all federal buildings, and Mayor Ed Holder at the City of London for lowering flags at municipal buildings to half-mast to honor and recognize the shame of injustice at these unconscionable acts. As the Liberal candidate for London-Fanshawe, I echo a call to action for candidates, MPs, political parties, and citizens across our great nation. We cannot stand by and let this injustice go unanswered. We will stand united to right the wrongs of the past in this country. And as your Member of Parliament, I will always listen to you and amplify your voice where it matters. It's time that London-Fanshawe had a strong Liberal voice, someone who will role model, not role play advocacy, who will listen to you and amplify your concerns with government and participate in decisions that advance progress for our community by sitting at the table where decisions are made. I will strive to help us nurture a community that is more tolerant to the beliefs and customs of others, where we can gain greater awareness and respect for universal human rights and our fundamental freedoms, and together rewrite the definition of inclusion to reform a culture of bigotry and hatred. So remember to tune in to Amplify with Mohamed and to become part of this movement. Check out the link below to donate and volunteer. Together, we can build bridges, not walls.